Well, good morning. This is Brett. I've been out here picking in the garden this morning. I thought I'd show you what we got this morning. Got probably a couple gallons of green beans this morning. I got one carrot over. I was checking my carrot patch. I made a video of where we planted a little old patch of carrots. Thought they turned out pretty good. Them are the stick beans. It's trying to make a comeback. But the weather's fixing to change again this week. According to the Weather Channel, we're going through another hot streak. Had to do a little mercy picking in the bell peppers. They put too many on one limb. You've got to pull the big ones off or pull the ones off the end or it breaks your plants down. Of course, I found a few little old tomatoes. I picked buckets of tomatoes this week. I've got to put up tomato juice today. My pink eye purple hulls, they've made a comeback. They had a bad little handful for a comeback. There's a whole lot more out there. It's green. You got to start out small again, just like you did when they first started, but they're full-size plants, so now you got to look for them. They're hid everywhere. A little routine jalapeno picking, cayenne picking. That's about a normal day's worth of okra there. Found another little batch of elderberries. I've been picking them, putting them in a bucket in the freezer and letting them freeze. They fall off really good in the freezer. That was a good tip I got from BW Farms over that. Well, let me show you my growed up garden. I was watching a channel the other day that was talking about how people don't always show the good and the bad. I can tell you, mine's got a lot of grass. I've got ground cover in here. This year it don't really matter. It grows on the edge, crawls over the top of it, and covers it up anyway. Them are Jet Star and Jet Setter tomatoes in that row. Of course, there's my little row of carrots I've been working on. And you can't pull the weeds after they get so big in there. You'll start pulling carrots up with it. They're intertwined with them. The red burgundy okra. I made a video about getting more okra off your plants. These would definitely keep producing more and more. I see one I gotta get. I missed. I got a new row of tomatoes started. I done something a little different this year. I planted them a little ways back and put a fence in the middle. I'm going to let the stalk kind of grow down to the ground. As you know, tomatoes will grow roots anytime they get close to the ground or touch the ground. I'm thinking maybe a little extra roots probably wouldn't hurt anything this time of year. I think I've got 8 left. I planted 10. I went back and planted 2 or 3 and some of them just ain't making it. My Clemson spineless. It don't sucker out as good as the red and burgundy does, but it puts out a lot of okra anyway. It has suckered out some. You'll see a few limbs here and there that's extra wide. This dead row was the Abe Lincoln tomatoes. Biggest tomatoes I've ever grown. As far as tomato after tomato being big. They've all gone except for the one down at the end. It's hanging on, but of course, this was the cucumber patch. I've planted a dozen or 14 plants, and we put up, I know, at least 30 quarts of pickles. Put my daughter up some pickles. 8 cucumbers. Hauled them off. Took them to church. These are the early girl tomatoes. They normally hang in pretty well in the weather, but they've had a hard time this year. They're kind of going down. They'll get dead on the ends and just keep growing green and keep stretching out, but the tomatoes have got small this time of year. I said something the other night on the porch talk about planting squash. This is my new squash. I got 7 more plants. I'm thinking one of them's a zucchini, but by the time I got them planted, I couldn't tell you which one's which. Not till they get bigger. Of course, I've had 2 down there already. There's 2 sweet potato plants at the end. They're vining out. Of course, I got my 2 rolls of beans here. They're bush beans. Yeah, the grass has got in them. It's got in around them to the point I can't get it out in some places. I've tilled the middle and hoed, and I'm not winning. I'm just hanging on, I guess. The woolly mess is the pink-eye purple hulls and what's left of my first row of bush beans. Grass is really bad in them, but they're producing really well. There again, you can't just jerk the grass up now because you'll get plants and all. You can see my Brussels sprouts sticking up over there. I got a couple of them playing with them. I've got to do a lot of weeding this weekend. Going back to work, I've got behind. That's my pumpkin plants there. I already got some small white pumpkins on there. The bees are fighting over the blooms this morning. You can see the little pumpkins are forming. A big old pumpkin at the end. I got some kale there and my Brussels sprouts. Next to the blocks is some of the potatoes I tried growing. It's still too hot for them. They're surviving, but they're not really growing. Potatoes, you can't take the heat apparently. My jalapenos and bell peppers, and I got them kind of mixed too close together this year. I got hot bells. You heard me talk about it on other ones. The bell peppers just as hot as the jalapenos. I got pepperoncinis this year too. I've got bucket loads. I ain't picked yet. And things are chest high and just loaded. I picked 2 or 3 bags I hadn't picked this week, I guess you could say. I pick them occasionally, take them to people. I can't eat near what they are of them. My little bow tie peppers. They finally starting to turn red. Anahims are starting to get some length on them. They should be some really big peppers. Of course, my cayennes, I found a few red ones this morning. See, I missed 1 or 2. Cantaloupe, they have just grown into everything. It's hard to weed over here because there's cantaloupe vines all in that. As you can see, there's the cantaloupe right there. This is the other potato experiment. There's still a couple potatoes in here, but like I said, it's so hot they're not really growing. They're staying green, but they're just hanging out. We went and planted 3 more bell peppers on this side away from all the heat, so we actually got something that we can give away that won't burn somebody up. We'll walk over to the other garden. Like they said, we show the good and the bad and the ugly. This is what's left of the Roma tomatoes. They're looking pretty bad. My 3rd row of beans I've planted. The grass is slowly taking over because I hadn't had a chance to run the tiller. But the cucumbers down on that fence bar. And this rough looking trellis of beans is actually putting out pretty good. I don't understand how, but we're still blessed with beans. Of course, you can see that the watermelon plant's down in the middle of all that. Still getting a little growth, a lot of bloom. I'm hoping we'll get another watermelon or 2 before it's over with. I like what they said about showing the good and the bad and the ugly. I thought I'd show it today. That wasn't a great harvest this morning, but he's still blessed. He's still going to feed us. It's still plenty to put up. Hope you enjoyed our little walk. God bless.